What if I told you that every single person who has ever achieved extraordinary success in America, from Thomas Edison to Oprah Winfrey, from Steve Jobs to Michael Jordan, started their journey not with external resources, not with connections, not even with exceptional talent, but with one simple yet profound decision, a decision to reprogram their mind for success and discipline. Right now, as you're listening to these words, you have that same power, that same choice, and that same potential sitting dormant inside your brain, waiting to be activated. Here's what most Americans don't realize. According to research conducted at Harvard University over a 20-year period, only 3% of graduates had written goals, and that 3% earned more than the other 97% combined. Stanford University's research in neuroscience shows us that your brain cannot distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. The University of Pennsylvania's studies on resilience demonstrate that your mental patterns, not your circumstances, determine your outcomes. These aren't feel-good theories. These are scientific facts that prove what I've been teaching for over 4 decades. Success is not an accident, it's a system. And that system begins and ends with how you program your mind. But here's the problem that's keeping millions of talented, capable Americans stuck in mediocrity. We live in a culture that celebrates instant gratification, that promises overnight success, that tells you to follow your passion without teaching you to develop discipline. We've been conditioned to believe that motivation should feel good, that change should be easy, that success should happen quickly. And when it doesn't, we quit. We make excuses. We blame the economy, our background, our circumstances, anything except the one thing we actually control, our thoughts and our daily choices. Today, I'm going to share with you a complete system, a step-by-step methodology that will reprogram your mind for success and discipline. You're going to learn the 7 fundamental laws that govern all achievement, the 4 daily practices that will transform your mental programming, and the specific techniques that America's highest achievers use to condition their minds for extraordinary results. By the time we're finished, you'll have everything you need to become the person you've always known you could be. The foundation of all success is what I call the law of mental equivalency. This law states that your outer world of results will always correspond to your inner world of thoughts, beliefs, and expectations. Show me a person who thinks they can't, and I'll show you a person who's right. Show me a person who believes they're destined for greatness, who programs their mind daily for success, and I'll show you someone who inevitably achieves extraordinary results. Your mind operates exactly like the most sophisticated computer ever created, but here's the difference. Most people never learn to program it intentionally. They leave their mental software to random chance, to negative news, to toxic social media, to the opinions of unsuccessful people. They wonder why their life isn't working while feeding their subconscious mind with thoughts of limitation, fear, and doubt every single day. You cannot program your mind for success if you're constantly downloading mental viruses of negativity and mediocrity. The first law you must understand is the law of belief. Whatever you believe with conviction becomes your reality. Henry Ford said it perfectly. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your beliefs act as a filter system, determining what opportunities you notice, what actions you take, and what results you achieve. If you believe you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough, your mind will find evidence to support the belief. But if you consciously choose to believe that you can learn anything, overcome anything, achieve anything you set your mind to, your brain will automatically begin working to make that belief your reality. Research from the University of Rochester demonstrates that people with growth mindsets, those who believe abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, achieve significantly higher levels of success than those with fixed mindsets. This isn't positive thinking. This is strategic thinking. When you deliberately choose empowering beliefs about your potential, you're not lying to yourself. You're aligning yourself with the fundamental truth that human beings have unlimited capacity for growth and achievement. The second law is the law of expectation. What you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. Your expectations create your reality by determining your energy, your effort, and your persistence. When you expect success, you work harder, you persist longer, you bounce back faster from temporary setbacks. When you expect failure, you unconsciously sabotage yourself. You give up at the first sign of difficulty. You interpret every obstacle as proof that you can't succeed. Olympic athletes understand this law better than anyone. They don't just train their bodies, they train their expectations. They visualize perfect performances so vividly and so repeatedly that their subconscious mind expects success as the natural outcome. Michael Phelps, who won 23 Olympic gold medals, visualized every possible scenario in every race, including potential problems, so that when those situations arose, his mind was already programmed with successful responses. You must do the same thing with your goals and dreams. Every morning, before you start your day, you need to program your mind to expect success. Not hope for it, not wish for it, but expect it as the natural result of your disciplined efforts. When you expect success with absolute certainty, your entire nervous system aligns to make it happen. The third law is the law of concentration. Whatever you focus on grows in your experience. This is not metaphysical speculation. This is scientific fact. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, brings to your conscious awareness whatever you consistently focus on. Focus on problems and you'll find more problems. Focus on opportunities and you will discover possibilities you never noticed before. Most people focus on what they don't want. They think about debt instead of wealth, about failure instead of success, about their fears instead of their dreams. They wonder why their life is filled with the very things they're trying to avoid. The answer is simple. You get what you focus on, not what you want. If you want to reprogram your mind for success, you must discipline yourself to focus exclusively on what you want to achieve, how you are going to achieve it, and why it's important to you. This brings us to the fourth law, the law of substitution. You can only hold one thought in your conscious mind at a time, and you have the power to choose that thought. Every time a negative thought enters your mind, you can immediately substitute it with a positive, empowering thought. This isn't about suppressing negative thoughts. It's about replacing them systematically until positive thinking becomes your default mental pattern. The most successful Americans have mastered this law. When Warren Buffett faces market volatility, he doesn't focus on potential losses. He focuses on potential opportunities. When Serena Williams faced setbacks in her career, she didn't dwell on defeats. She concentrated on improvements and future victories. They've trained their minds to automatically substitute limiting thoughts with empowering ones. The fifth law is the law of habit. Everything you do repeatedly becomes automatic. Your current results are the product of your current habits, both mental and physical. If you want to change your results, you must change your habits. If you want to reprogram your mind for success, you must develop the habit of thinking like a successful person every single day. Aristotle understood this principle over 2,000 years ago when he wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your habits of thought become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. When you make successful thinking a daily habit, success becomes inevitable. The sixth law is the law of practice. Whatever you practice most, you become best at. Most people practice failure. They practice making excuses. They practice procrastination. They practice negative thinking. They practice giving up when things get difficult. Then they wonder why these behaviors come so naturally to them. You become what you practice. So if you want to become successful, you must practice the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of successful people until they become second nature. Professional athletes understand this law intuitively. They don't just practice their sport. They practice under pressure. They practice when they're tired. They practice when they don't feel like it. They know that what they practice consistently becomes their automatic response when it matters most. You must apply this same principle to your mental training. Practice thinking like a successful person when you feel motivated and when you don't, when things are going well and when they're challenging. The seventh and final law is the law of persistence. Persistence is self-discipline in action over time. It's the ability to keep going when others quit, to maintain your effort when motivation fades, to continue moving forward despite temporary setbacks and disappointments. Persistence is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who abandon them. Every great American success story includes chapters of persistence. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and was told Mickey Mouse would fail because women were afraid of mice. Colonel Sanders was rejected 1,009 times before someone agreed to use his fried chicken recipe. Stephen King's first novel was rejected 30 times before it was published and became a bestseller. These individuals succeeded not because they never failed, but because they persisted through failure until they achieved their breakthrough. Now that you understand these 7 laws, let me share with you the 4 daily practices that will reprogram your mind for success and discipline. These practices, when applied consistently, will literally rewire your brain for achievement. Neuroscience research at UCLA shows that it takes approximately 66 days of consistent practice to form a new neural pathway. But the good news is that you'll start seeing results within the first week. The first practice is conscious visualization. Every morning, before you start your day, spend at least 10 minutes visualizing your goals as already achieved. See yourself performing at your best, overcoming challenges with confidence, and enjoying the success you're working toward. Make these mental movies as vivid and detailed as possible. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the emotions. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So when you visualize success repeatedly, your brain creates neural pathways that make successful behavior automatic. NASA uses visualization training with astronauts because they've found that mental practice can be almost as effective as physical practice. Basketball players who visualize making free throws improve almost as much as players who practice shooting free throws. Sales professionals who visualize successful presentations perform better than those who only practice their pitch. Visualization works because it programs your mind to expect success and prepares your nervous system to perform at its peak when the real opportunity arrives. The second practice is positive self-programming through affirmations. Throughout the day, but especially in the morning and evening, repeat empowering statements about who you are and what you are capable of achieving. Say things like, I am disciplined and focused. I achieve my goals consistently. I am worthy of success. I persist until I succeed. The key is to phrase these affirmations in the present tense, as if they're already true, because your subconscious mind accepts whatever you tell it repeatedly with conviction. Dr. Chet Helmstetter, one of America's leading experts on self-talk, estimates that the average person has over 50,000 thoughts per day, and that 77% of those thoughts are negative or counterproductive. If you don't consciously choose your thoughts, your mind will default to patterns of worry, doubt, and limitation. Affirmations are your way of taking control of your mental programming and deliberately installing thoughts that support your success. The third practice is goal-oriented daily action. Every day, without exception, you must take at least one specific action that moves you toward your most important goal. This doesn't have to be a massive action, but it must be a deliberate action. Make that phone call, write that email, read that chapter, practice that skill, have that conversation. The key is consistency, not perfection. Small actions taken consistently create momentum, and momentum creates results. The University of Scranton research shows that only 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions, and the primary reason for failure is lack of consistent daily action. Those who succeed don't just set goals, they build systems of daily behaviors that make goal achievement inevitable. They understand that success is not a destination, it's a process of daily disciplines that compound over time. The fourth practice is evening reflection and course correction. Before you go to bed each night, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What will I do differently tomorrow? This simple practice of self-reflection accelerates your learning, reinforces positive behaviors, and helps you continuously improve your performance. This reflection process is based on the principle of continuous improvement that made companies like Toyota and General Electric world leaders in their industries. What you review regularly, you improve automatically. When you make daily reflection a habit, you begin to catch and correct small problems before they become big ones, and you identify and replicate the behaviors that create your best results. Now, let me address the 2 biggest enemies of success programming: the excuse habit and the comfort zone addiction. Excuses are the stories we tell ourselves to justify why we're not taking the actions we know we should take. Every excuse is a choice to remain stuck instead of moving forward. Every excuse is a decision to accept mediocrity instead of pursuing excellence. Every excuse is a vote for the person you currently are instead of the person you could become. The most common excuses I hear: I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't know how, and I'm too old. Let me address each of these directly. You don't manage time, you manage choices. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but successful people make different choices about how to use those hours. They invest time in activities that move them forward instead of wasting time on activities that keep them stuck. You don't need money to start improving your life. You need discipline. You can read books from the library, learn from free online resources, and develop skills that cost nothing but time and effort. You don't need to know how to succeed before you start. You need to start before you know how. Every expert was once a beginner. Every professional was once an amateur. You learn by doing, not by waiting until you feel ready. And you're never too old to create a better life. Harlan Sanders was 65 when he started KFC. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first Little House book at 64. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was 78. Age is not a limitation. It's an advantage because you have more experience, more wisdom, and more reasons to make your remaining years count. The comfort zone is equally dangerous because it creates the illusion of safety while slowly destroying your potential. Your comfort zone is not actually comfortable, it's familiar. And familiar is not the same as fulfilling. When you stay in your comfort zone, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. Everything you want is outside your comfort zone. Every goal that excites you requires you to become someone you've never been before. The solution is to make discomfort your friend. Seek out challenges that stretch you. Take on projects that require you to learn new skills. Have conversations that make you nervous. Apply for positions that seem slightly beyond your current abilities. Each time you step outside your comfort zone, you expand it permanently. Each time you do something that scares you, you build confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Your environment has more influence on your success than you realize. You become like the people you spend the most time with, and you think like the information you consume most regularly. If you're surrounded by negative people who complain about their circumstances instead of changing them, that negativity will infect your thinking. If you're constantly consuming news that focuses on problems instead of solutions, entertainment that glorifies mediocrity instead of excellence, and social media that promotes comparison instead of growth, you're programming your mind for frustration and limitation. The solution is to consciously design your environment to support your success. Choose to spend time with people who inspire you to be better, who support your goals, who model the behaviors you want to develop. Read books written by people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Listen to podcasts that teach you new skills and strategies. Watch videos that educate and motivate you instead of ones that merely entertain you. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you become what you think about most. If you want to reprogram your mind for success, you must be intentional about every influence you allow into your mental space. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't plant flowers deliberately, weeds will grow automatically. Let me give you a specific daily success programming routine that you can implement immediately. This routine, followed consistently, will transform your mental patterns and, consequently, your results. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual and use this time for your mental programming. Begin with 5 minutes of deep breathing to center yourself and prepare your mind for positive programming. Spend 10 minutes in conscious visualization, seeing yourself achieving your goals with perfect clarity and detail. Follow this with 5 minutes of positive affirmations, declaring who you are becoming and what you are committed to achieving. Read for 10 minutes from a book that teaches success principles or develops skills relevant to your goals. This daily dose of wisdom will compound over time and give you a tremendous advantage over people who fill their minds with random information instead of success-oriented knowledge. Throughout your day, practice the substitution law by immediately replacing any negative thought with a positive one. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't," substitute, "How can I?" When you think, "This is too hard," substitute, "This is making me stronger." When you think, "I might fail," substitute, "I will persist until I succeed." This constant mental discipline will gradually reprogram your default thought patterns from limitation to possibility. Before bed, spend 5 minutes in reflection, asking yourself what you accomplished, what you learned, and how you can improve tomorrow. This evening review session consolidates your learning and prepares your subconscious mind to work on solutions while you sleep. Your brain never stops working, and if you give it clear directives before sleep, it will continue processing and problem solving throughout the night. The key to making this routine work is consistency, not perfection. You don't need to do it perfectly every day. You just need to do it consistently. Missing one day doesn't matter, but missing several days in a row will break the momentum you're building. Treat this routine like a prescription from a doctor. Your success depends on taking it regularly, whether you feel like it or not. I want you to understand something crucial. The mind that got you to where you are now is not the mind that will get you to where you want to go. If you want different results, you need different thinking. If you want a different life, you need different daily practices. If you want to become successful, you must program your mind to think like a successful person before the success appears. This is not about positive thinking. This is about strategic thinking.
This is not about motivation. This is about mental conditioning. This is not about luck. This is about law. The laws of mental programming work with mathematical precision when applied consistently over time.
You don't have to believe their work. You just have to apply them, and the results will prove their effectiveness.
Right now, at this very moment, you have a choice.
You can continue operating with the mental programming that created your current results, or you can commit to reprogramming your mind for the extraordinary life you deserve. You can continue making excuses for why success hasn't happened yet, or you can start implementing the daily practices that make success inevitable.
The beautiful truth is that you already have everything you need to succeed.
You have a brain capable of learning any skill, overcoming any obstacle, and achieving any goal you set for it.
You have the ability to choose your thoughts, control your focus, and direct your actions. You have access to more information, more opportunities, and more resources than any generation in human history. The only question is whether you'll use these gifts or waste them. Success is not about where you come from. It's about where you're going.
It's not about your current circumstances. It's about your daily choices.
It's not about your past failures. It's about your future persistence.
Every single day, you get a new opportunity to reprogram your mind, to take successful action, and to move closer to your dreams. The time for excuses has passed.
The time for action has arrived. The time to reprogram your mind for success and discipline is now. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Your family is counting on you to become everything you're capable of being.
The world is counting on you to develop your gifts and share them generously.
You were not born to live a life of mediocrity. You were born to achieve great things, to make a meaningful contribution, to leave a legacy that matters.
But none of this will happen automatically. It will only happen when you take conscious control of your mental programming and align your daily actions with your highest aspirations.
Starting today, make the commitment to reprogram your mind for success and discipline.
Practice visualization every morning.
Use positive affirmations throughout the day.
Take goal-oriented action consistently.
Reflect and improve each evening.
Eliminate excuses and step outside your comfort zone regularly. Design your environment to support your success.
Follow the daily routine that builds successful thinking patterns. Do this for 66 days, and you'll be amazed at the transformation.
Do this for 1 year, and you'll barely recognize the person you've become. Do this for 5 years, and you'll have achieved goals that seem impossible to you right now. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours.
The time is now. Your mind is waiting to be programmed for success.
Your potential is waiting to be unleashed.
Your extraordinary life is waiting to be lived. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for motivation.
Start programming your mind today, and watch as your outer world transforms to match your inner world of success-oriented thinking.
Remember this truth. You become what you think about most of the time. Make sure those thoughts are worthy of the magnificent life you're here to create.
Your success story begins with your next thought, your next choice, your next action. Make it count, because you count, and the world needs what you have to offer when you're operating at your highest level.
The journey to success begins with a single step, and that step is the decision to reprogram your mind starting today. Your future is in your hands, your success is in your mind, and your time is now.
Begin today, persist daily, and success will become not just a possibility, but an inevitability.